I'm back again today. I'm going to be turning my charcoal sketch into an oil painting. So let me go ahead and hook this up, this phone. This grip is always really tight, which I guess is good, but gives me a headache. All right. Okay. I think that's all right. I don't think that's going anywhere. Cool. Let me go ahead and move this up a little closer. And then down a little bit. Like that. I think that's good. Cool. All right, let me check my channel again. There we go. Let me just make sure that this sound isn't on. All right, cool. So welcome everybody. Painting today. I'm going to be turning this charcoal sketch I have up here, which I have posted as a short in case you want to see some of that, how I put it together. I live streamed it too, I think. So feel free to poke back through those videos and come back to the live stream if you like. In the meantime, if you want to just kind of hang out and chat and enjoy your day with me, sounds great. Glad to have you here. I have some leftover paint on my palette from last time that I'm going to try to use. But first things first, I'm going to be painting this essentially, at least to start, alla prima, which means laying things on very thin and in one go, rather than doing it in several stages and letting it dry and then adding another layer and then adding another layer. This is really about trying to get as close to a finished piece as I can in one sitting. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't tend to paint alla prima style, but I'm going to give it a shot and we'll go from there. So the thing I want to think about first is what colors I want the background to be. And I have some colors and paints already picked out here. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a really thin background that's kind of warm to give a sense of the light I want. Well, not necessarily. That could change over time. But at least to get just some light down on the canvas. And so to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a big brush and I'm going to lay down on my palette. I know you can't see it. I'm going to put some orange down on my palette and some alizarin crimson and put those together to get a warm color temperature. And I'll lay that really thin on the canvas. I'm going to use a bit of mineral spirits, odorless mineral spirits. That way the paint will be thin. Because oil paint, if you just go straight, comes out really thick. And it can be hard to paint over. So generally the rule with oil paint is called fat over lean, meaning that you want your lean layers or thin layers to be put down first, and then you want to paint the fat layers or the thick layers on top, because it's a lot easier to make adjustments when your paint is very thin than it is when your paint is very thick. So grabbing some of that orange I was talking about and some alizarin crimson, gonna blend those together. Okay. something a little warmer. We'll see how this goes. Like I said, I don't normally paint alla prima style, but I'm giving it a whirl today. So nice and thin. I'm just gonna get that warm color on the canvas here. And that mineral spirit I'm using really helps to get this to spread. If I just painted straight from the tube, I would not be able to stretch it this far this quickly. I could make it stretch most of the canvas, but the whole canvas would be a big challenge. It's really thin. It almost, when you paint it with the mineral spirits, it almost has the appearance of like a watercolor. I don't know if you've ever used watercolor in your own work. Okay, we got the thin layer down. Okay, so this is providing a base color that allows the colors to be a little more, it helps them to stand out. Helps them to stand out when I paint on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go very gently and kind of dab some of the canvas here. Just pull up some of that excess paint so it's just a little bit easier to paint on top. Because I don't actually want the background color to be this orange. And if I was doing a normal oil painting where I intended this to dry and sit, I probably would just coat the canvas and let it rest for a day or two. Probably just a day, because it's so thin. But that is not the case. I'm trying to get started right away. And so just kind of wiping some of this excess paint off is really going to help. It's going to keep the colors that I place on top from being overdone or smudged, more muddy. Okay. So we've got this base color down. And so now it's time to start laying in the basic shapes of the Rhino. The reason I have this charcoal sketch up here is so that I have it as my reference for putting it down here. So the charcoal sketch is acting like essentially my planning thumbnail for my painting. And I'll obviously put some more detail in the background, not a ton. I want the Rhino to be the main point of focus. So it's just going to be primarily the details on the Rhino and then the grass that he's munching. And then the rest of it is going to be a little more blurred out, kind of like a photograph effect. Okay? So let's go ahead and start putting in some of these Rhino shapes here. Or, you know what I should do? I should probably put in the grass first. At least the coloring for it. So let me grab a different brush. Different brush here, slightly smaller than the previous brush. And get some mineral spirits on it. Keep it thin. Let it drain out a little bit. Maybe even dab some of it out on the towel. All right. And now I'm going to come in and grab some greens. And it looks like a lot of the greens that I had last time have already kind of sealed up. So I will try to loosen them with some mineral spirits, but I don't think that's going to work. No. Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to have to add some more green onto my palette, which is fine. I think today, no, I'll use the sap green. The paints I'm using are a mix of M. Graham, Williamsburg, and Winsor and Newton. Put the sap green there. Don't need a ton. All right. And now I can mix that sap green with the light green. Gives kind of a nice look. A little dark, but it gives me room to build up white. All right, and so let's see, proportionally, probably somewhere around here. Oh, that looks like a bristle. There it is. Don't want that. It's not going to be a completely straight on shot, so I'm thinking that the horizon line is probably going to be somewhere, let me see, if I'm looking at the charcoal sketch. Let's put the horizon, or at least the part where it'll kind of blend a little bit. Let's put it out here, somewhere around this area. Just lay it in thin. This stage of the painting is going to be messy, and that's fine. It's a mess in progress. All right. Got that. Now it's time. Let me see if I have any of this still good. No? Okay. Now it looks like a lot of my paint that I used last time is already hardened up. All right, so I'll go ahead and grab some Payne's Gray. Put that down. So we got Payne's Gray. too much. And then let's do maybe a king's blue. Just to add a little bit of blue to the image. Just a tiny bit. And having that in the skin, I think, will help contrast or bring out the blue in the sky later, if I go that route. Let's get some yellow ochre on the palette. Oh, that's tough. Every once in a while, if the cap on your oil paint is stuck, it might help to use a towel. I've had artists that I know use grips, like for electrical equipment or pliers. They use a combination of things. Okay, so that's on, and now I need I'll save that for later. Let's do the white, titanium white. To help lighten up some of the skin there. Just a bloop. I'll leave it on my desk in case I need more. And we'll go ahead and start putting that down. So bloop bloop, get that out. So we got that. Oh yeah, that's a really nice color there. Okay, so now it's time to start putting in the Rhino. This is the time to do it too, before I get too deep. I raised the horizon line just a bit. I think that works a little better. All right. And now I'll lay in some blues. Too thin, too thin. All right. And now we can start adding some values. So let's see. I think I might keep it for that, I guess. Most of the colors on my palette are dry from last time, so I gotta put down new colors. Let's put this brush away for now and grab some blue. Actually, let's get the Rhino skin color first. So, some blue. It's King's Blue. It's a very nice light blue. I'm also going to grab some ultramarine. Put that down out of the way so that it doesn't get mixed up with the lighter colors. And we'll grab some more. We already got ochre. Let's do Titan Buff because it's an off-white. It's kind of got a pink color to it. So do Titan Buff. That'll be nice. And oh, there it is. I lost my cap for a second. All right. And then maybe, well, I got Payne's Gray. So just those colors should be fine. And let's see, grab, this brush should be fine. And we'll start putting in some of the darker values. So add a little bit of the Payne's Gray to the skin color I put down earlier with a hint of blue. Maybe just a hint of ultramarine. Gives us kind of a cool gray. Might not be dark enough. We'll see. I can always thicken it up later. Let's do some of these darker areas first. I'm just going to go nice and slow. And as I'm painting, I'm thinking about the direction of the light, the color that's gonna come down from that. So when I'm making my brush strokes, I want to make sure that I'm reflecting that understanding. So in other words, if I'm dealing with a rounded shape, I don't want to paint straight lines, I want to paint curved lines. Okay, and now we can start to get the eye. And this goes back to what I had mentioned earlier about fat over lean, meaning that your lean layers, your thin layers should go on first. You want to make sure that you're not overstretching how much paint you're putting down. And then even in the midst of that, thinking about the direction of the brush, as well as the contrast in value. That's probably the thing I think about most is value contrast when I'm painting. Want to have areas that are light and areas that are dark. And when I squint at my subject, I should be able to see the forms. That's the goal. So even if I don't have like a magnifying glass at all the little details, I need to be able to see very clearly what those shapes and structures are in the 3D form just by squinting. That's how I know I've done a good job. Okay. Now if I move my arm away, maybe you can kind of see the shapes that I've got going. Hopefully you can see, maybe if I turn on the light a little higher. That makes it a little easier. Seeing the different shapes that I've got, different values. Okay, let's grab something even darker to help contrast that face. So I'm just going to take a little more Payne's Gray, a touch of the King's Blue, and a touch touch of the ultramarine. You gotta go really, really sparing with the ultramarine because it wants to dominate. In terms of colors that really overpower others when you place them down, in my experience, ultramarine is one of the top contenders for doing that. It just does not like to share. Alright, so let's see. If I start carving in over here. Like that. Move that other palette for a second here. Okay, so that's coming along. And I know I haven't put on his ears yet, that's coming. Just wanted to make sure I had his face silhouetted first. That's just a personal preference. There's nothing wrong with doing it another way. So now we're really starting to see more definition. Put the rough placement for the eyeball. Just a little bit of emphasis on the underside of the eye there. As well as the curve of the bottom of the jaw under the cheek. And then just a little bit on the top here. Like that. And just a little bit of that darker color up here. And now I can add the ears. if you're wondering, the brushes I'm using are by an artist that I know, really great artist named Rob Kaz, and I talk to him pretty frequently, and these are brushes that he sells on his own website. If you just look up his name, you can find it, robkaz.com. But I really like these brushes. I feel like they do what you want them to do. They're nice and soft. They don't tend to shed bristles, and they're very affordable, especially compared to some other brushes that you might want to go for just because of the quality sake. I think that these are a great buy. So I just really enjoy using them. And in my opinion, at this stage of the painting, there's nothing more important than establishing the right kind of values. Making sure that you have darks where you want them and lights where you want them. I think if you can get that down at this stage of the painting, you're setting yourself up for a really good painting. Okay. It's getting there. Let's do, let's see. Let's get some more mid-tony skin color in there. Some of that lighter brown, the ochre, yellow ochre mixed with the King's blue, and a little bit of the Payne's gray. And then just a dab, just a tiny dab of the titanium white. Okay. And this should be considerably lighter than the other parts I've put down. Yep. There it is. So it's going to be light on the edge. Same for the nose here, just hinting at some lightness. And that color will fade as it goes under the horn. And we got more of that light shade up here on the top and along the edge of that ear there. trying to make sure I have that face fairly even on both sides where the eye sockets would be. That horn blocks it, but it doesn't mean we have a free pass. I want to make sure that we get that lighting right. So I think I'm going to leave the lighting on the left side of his body and this cooler light. And then the light coming from the right side as the warmer light. Give it a nice little contrast there. Let's grab some more of that color before we lose it. Just trying to stay subtle with it. I don't want it to be so strong a light that it looks like he's really being completely lit from that side. It's really more just to help define the edges, make it look a little more 3D. Same color over here from that side. Hopefully you can start to really see it come together here. And this is, if you can see at the top of the painting here, that value contrast I was talking about, where, you know, down here, this same color looks like a light source is hitting it, and yet up here, it looks like it's in shadow. It's all based on the contrast of comparison. Like, what is it next to? there is something I have to take care of before I forget, so I will be right back. Thanks for your patience. I'll be back in just a moment. All right. I'm back. How about we do this? Let's lower, at the risk of messing something up, let's lower your view of the Rhino. We'll get you down lower and we'll get you to look at it a little more closely. Oh, wait. There we go. So this goes down. Like there. Let's go ahead and move it closer. And we'll angle it up just a bit. Okay. That should be better. So now you can get a better look at it. All right. Let's keep working on it and get some more colors established. Maybe some of the background. Grab some of that yellow, that green. Just fixing up some of that background there. Okay. Back to, let's do the sky. Use this brush, I guess. Okay. Clouds can go in later. What I can do is I can slightly darken the top. Because that's what happens well, that didn't really do much. I mean, I kind of want it to be subtle anyway. Just to put a tiny bit of that on the ear. Okay. Next up, we'll focus on some of the lighter values. Grab a different brush for that. This one should do. If you're here, thanks for being here. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I have the chat up in front of me in case you think of something to ask or talk about. Even if you just want to say hi. Let's see. Got that warm light there. Let's grab some yellow ochre. Some of that orange I got earlier. And a little bit of titanium white. A little more of that titanium white. Or actually, I think that's the Titan buff. Titan buff. Alright, we'll test it and we'll see. Is this the right color or is it too bright? We'll test it up here. Trying to think. This music reminds me of the Dam Keeper a bit. I don't know if you've watched that before, but that's what it sounds like to me. Very reminiscent of that. Okay. Maybe add a little shadow in the grass. Grab some of that green, mix it with the blue. Maybe just a tad of yellow ochre. Yeah, that looks more like shadow. Okay. All right. Let's get some of the darker facial features in now. So maybe a different brush. Let's see. Need something smaller, but not small. This one could work. All right. And for this, we'll lean into the ochre and mix that with the ultramarine. And just gonna lighten it up a little bit. Okay, I think this will stand out, but only one way to know. Not quite dark enough. Let's grab some Payne's Gray. You know what I might need to do? I might need to grab, what's this one? Nope. Well, maybe. Burnt Sienna. Let's grab Burnt Sienna. I think this will be the thing. I need my cloth because the cap's a little too tight. There we go. All right. So Burnt Sienna. Add more Payne's Gray to the palette. So mix that along with this. Get something in between. How's this look? Looks a little better, I think. Okay. And so what we'll do is we'll grab some of these areas down here, very lightly start adding darker detail to them. I think that might be a little too much. Might need to back off a little bit and grab some of this gray. Maybe mix in some of that blue. Okay, let's see how this goes. All right. I think this is where I'm going to leave it for today. The colors are starting to vibrate a little too much for me. I need to step away in order to come back with kind of fresh eyes, because I feel like some of the good things I had going for it I'm starting to ruin, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to kind of step away for a while, and come back to it at a later point. But thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope that whatever you're doing today, that it goes well for you, that you have a great day, and I will catch you in the next live stream. Bye, everybody.